Good evening, folks, and welcome to the official ARK community. This is Fortunate coming at you. We are now sitting on Tuesday, November 15th. This is going to be our 15th podcast for ARK here, and we are very excited to be here with you once again every day. We are excited to be here with you and discuss some of the news and all the good stuff that we have to chat here in the chat. So I'll pass you over to our wonderful founder, Mr. Atlas. The floor is yours, sir.
Thanks for the introduction, Fortunate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ARK. This is Atlas speaking. This is our 15th podcast. We're extremely happy to be here working for all of you. Very busy day. And listening to the community and taking into account everybody's ideas and inputs and really upgrading the system. There's a lot of anticipation that's coming for Friday. That's going to be 12 p.m. UTC, 12 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. UTC will be our public round 2. We're looking forward to it, guys. A lot of excitement. A lot of folks are reaching out to us. Other groups, YouTubers are coming on board. If you go to YouTube and start looking for ARK, I think you're going to, be able to spend a couple of hours already on the material that's being put forth there. And folks are really taking the time and doing a good job, I find, generally being very respectful to other projects and just highlighting and going deep under the hood of the white paper and what makes ARK so special. That sustainability, the safety, that's all being taken into account here as we really raise the bar and, make our way towards, our launch. Mr. Brett Norden, would you like to step up? Tell us a little bit. I know you're doing some updates on the white paper and some great ideas and things that are coming through just in time as we're getting ready for the second round.
Oh, yeah, thank you. We have a new feature that we added to the upline round robin rewards, which is part of the referral reward system. Every time you compound, then your 5% of that compound gets shared to your upline across 15 levels. And we had it to where I was being a little idealistic, I think, and I wanted to reward the bond holders and the legacy NFT holders more often if that wallet was far below the Guardian wallet. And it kind of went back and forth with some other people in different groups. And, there's a little feeling that it was unfair, I guess, is part of the message. But then the other half is that I still want to be able to reward those bond holders and legacy NFT holders, regardless of how we structure it. So what we came up with was, which I think is different than anyone else out there. I don't think anyone else is doing this, but what we decided to do was when there's an unqualified wallet in your 15 uplines, in one of the levels in your 15 uplines, it's unqualified, then that reward will go to the Guardian wallet, which is kind of like the top wallet. Some people call it the dev wallet, but it's not really a dev wallet in our system. And what we'll do is at the end of each day, we'll take the last 24 hours of those compound rewards that went to the Guardian wallet, and we'll share 50% with lucky community members that get drawn randomly. We have our own blockchain random selection system. And so we pull lucky winners, and then we share 100% of those collected rewards in that 24 hours with those lucky winners. And so what we'll do is we're going to drop those into your principal balance in your vault account as a referral reward. So it'll be a positive action towards your NDV, and it'll raise your principal balance with those ARK rewards. So we kind of came up with a way to keep those bond holders and the NFT holders incentivized to do that, and maybe bring some more people to the table to help support the protocol in that manner. But then I think it's a much fairer system than a few that are of the other systems that are out there. And I don't know if anyone's doing that, where they're collecting those compound rewards and spreading them to those other people that would qualify in the network. So maybe if somebody knows of another system like that, we could find out from the community. But I think it's a great addition. I'm excited about it. I'm kind of stressing about that situation in the round robin system for a while. So I feel really good about it now. And I think all the fairness is built in.
Absolutely. No, the inspiration is fantastic. Giving back to the NFT and the bondholders that are building teams, or, maybe they just have one single downline to be able to get their direct deposits, to wake up or, be at work or feeding your family and see a nice deposit come through into your ARK vault is something that I'm sure a lot of folks are going to be really, really excited about here. So, it'll be something that we'll do here live on the podcast every evening, the giveaway. And it'll definitely, I think, be an interesting time. And perhaps we have some of those folks that have won the previous night, or, let's say they've found out that they've got this fantastic reward. We won't have their username or their email, but they'll definitely see that they they woke up, or they got some really, really, really nice deposit of ARK. And I'd love to see some of the folks that win that come over here, share with us. Maybe it's somebody that's having a really hard day, or they're struggling to pay their bills, and that daily reward might be exactly what they needed at the right time. So I'm looking forward with anticipation to hear some of these great stories. So thank you for that update, Brett. I think it's very fair, and part of being an investor is of course changing your life, improving your finances, getting yourself situated for a long-term return on investment and growth, and to help folks get there faster and their journey here with us. I think that's going to definitely be a very, very well received and appreciated part of how the whole system is really put together. So looking forward to that. Let's see here. Is there anybody that would have a question or has a comment? This is a perfect time for you to unmute your mic and come and ask a question. Talk to us. See, maybe you, C-Rod, you want to join us?
I got a question. I didn't want to be the guy to be asking the question. All right. What is the goal after? How are you going to get, because you don't want to do DJ call channels and stuff. I mean, I'm sure you probably went over this 100 times on how you're going to get the word out of other members or bring people in, or because obviously you got to have people buying for it to keep living, even though I get the taxes are going to support it. What's your goal to get people in?
Well, specifically to get folks in here, great question, C-Rod. The main factor here is that we all need to understand that the success of ROI dApps and these type of long-term investment systems, they don't work in the traditional shitcoin type of world. Like PooCoin ad is absolutely just throwing money down the toilet. First of all, that's ineffective. And second, the way that the systems are built, you need to really understand how the investment works. So it's education. You get a high tax that is imposed. Folks want to come and trade the token. They won't even be able to buy it on PancakeSwap, just the way that everything's put together with the liquidity control mechanisms that we have here for price stability. So it would almost be irresponsible to go and advertise ARK as a, hey, buy it and get a 10x and go out, in 3 hours. Anyway, those days we know are over. And that's not what this project is about. That's not our investor. That's not who we're looking for. So primarily our target is really our own community. We're starting, I think, with a fantastic set of groups that have definitely, been around. They've invested into several projects. They have thrived and done really, really well. Most of them, I could tell you one in particular, like Cryptozoa. Those guys, have an army of folks that write Medium articles, And they've been able to make that very, very effective and grow their teams. And there's folks that show up there and they want to learn how to write, and they've got the tools, they've got the mentorship, and really the skills that they could transfer on over for that person, that investor that's coming on board with them to really excel, to get out there. And that's been proven to be extremely effective. So we want to bring that, philosophy, want to bring those skills over here to the rest of the community. I mean, that's actually how I met, Brett Norden in our phase one here in RVC. We saw that it was posted a fantastic Medium article, great image. It drew my attention in, and the way that he presented the investment, with numbers, analytical, content for the folks that, they're not looking for the shiny, emoji and meme. That's not the crowd. These are sophisticated, smart folks, have a couple $100,000 in the bank. They're looking to get some passive income, not take a huge risk, but, take a small amount and, as I say, invest it and, have a strategy for getting your ROI. So a lot of it's really, really, C-Rod, community-based, and giving them those tools. We're working on, what we call marketing materials, our videos, educational pieces, PDFs that are making somebody that's an investor here, it's making them, have material that they could send over on WhatsApp or their social medias or their friends, neighbors, and so forth, so that they can get an understanding and an interest to see if it's something that might fit their investment criteria, their investment goals. So that's really important for us to get that all organized and put it in your hands, so that the folks can go out there. And if they need to learn how to write Medium articles, they can. We even have a development coach here, Brad Ass, that's going to help folks that are maybe shy to speak to, their friends or even strangers, and, get their skills on how to make a proper presentation. And even if those folks, are learning and they have some people that are interested and want to sign up, and they need somebody here from the team that's going to talk to their investor, walk them through the process, help them get set up with MetaMask and so forth. We got Fortunate, we got Brad. We have a whole system here, support and, customer service, really, that is going to enable those folks that are not really well-versed or just don't have the time. So that's really the prime directive as far as, where we are today. When our mobile app, comes and that's released, that's going to be another huge game changer for us, as we want to make a mobile app that's really intuitive, simple, couple of buttons that the average Joe, that the Uber driver, that the nurse, that the school teacher, folks that have never really been into DeFi. I mean, there's billions of them out there all over the world in different countries, South America, Asia, Europe, that, with that simple user interface, they're going to be able to come in here and they're going to be able to make a passive income play that is long-term, sustainable, and safe. So that's our primary focus. It's not the traditional, run-of-the-mill way. You have to learn how to play this. So education is extremely important.
I got one more, if you don't mind, Atlas. What do you guys think you're doing different to prevent, for instance, what happened to Wonderland or like Drip, to prevent something bad from happening, if that makes any sense?
What do you mean bad? I mean, I don't know what
Bad
Wonderland is.
As someone figures out there's a loophole or bad characters, how to prevent or block.
Perfect question. That's what makes ARK so interesting, so strong, and appealing to investors, especially folks that have experience in the space. There's always going to be folks that are looking to, game the system, to squeeze, as much out of it as they can and find those little loopholes. That's why we have the Guardian wallet. And that's why, it's been designed to make sure that, it's not going to, let folks take advantage of that system. I don't want to see if, Brett, do you want to go in here and expand a little bit on those cheats and the way that folks really try to take advantage of the system? Because that's primarily been, the whole initiative here. to make sure that we don't have sleepless nights, that folks aren't gaming it for the, their own benefit.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things we could go down through that, but I can honestly say there's no other daily ROI app like this. If you look across the others that are available that have the protections and guardrails that we have in place. I mean, just the purchase to direct deposit, the automatic deposit at time of purchase, that solves a bunch of problems with pump and dump charts, people trying to drain liquidity. We have backstops in our foundation liquidity pool. It's attached to our liquidity controller. We're building in a bunch of intelligence into that now. So there's just so many different things that we're doing to help create a longer term, more sustainable system. One of the biggest things I think people have kind of keyed in on now is that we are forcing a majority of wallets to withdraw early instead of compound to the end and then create a tsunami of withdrawals, which is pretty typical of the other systems. So that's probably the biggest protections that we have. The pump and dump throttling, forcing deposit upon purchase of ARK. There's no ARK that are going to be in the wild. If they aren't in the wild, then they're transferred from a wallet to another wallet. If that wallet doesn't have an ARK vault account and doesn't deposit those ARK, then they're subject to a 50% dump tax. We also have a sell cap. So even if you do accumulate or start to build up the number of ARK in your wallet, we have a sell cap. So you're limited on the number you can sell every day. Right now, that number is 200, but it could be dynamic as well, based on sell pressure, based on market conditions. So yeah, we put in a lot of guardrails into this thing. I call them goalposts, because if you can keep those goalposts aligned right, more people are going to score. So we want everybody to get a win. We understand there's a lot of whale manipulation out there. We put a lot of systems in place to thwart that, but then also give the smaller investor a really big opportunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you say 200, you mean 200 ARK or $200?
200 ARK per day is the sell cap right now.
Copy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, C-Rod. The attention to detail, and those are the primary details. That's what's going to, give ARK the sustainability that, a lot of the investors, including ourselves as investors, are looking for. So it's been really, really well thought out. When folks want to come and, purchase ARK, it has to go to their ARK vault account. It's not going to be sitting in wallets. We've sat down and thought of the variables, what we've seen already, because we've seen a lot of, situations in past projects that have been exploited. So that's given us, I think, a great opportunity to learn, to make sure that doesn't happen here. And, those goalposts, like Brett's saying, they're set there so that we can all, win. We can all not be concerned and worried that, hey, this is going to go down or that's going to happen. And always in mind of folks. I mean, we've had people writing us the past couple of days, hey, can I do it this way? Can I do it that way? And we could see they're trying to game, and we smile. We smile and we're happy because we're understanding that we've taken the time here to make sure that it's fair to every single investor, and that we've paid attention to those details, and we've thought further than what's already happened. We've gone, 10 steps ahead, I would say, of the variables of what could come up and what could happen. Let's get this crypto. Great questions, man.
So, my last one, if you don't mind. When
Please,
and
go
if you guys are successful,
Mhm.
which I believe you will, not financial advice, do you think other people are going to try to mimic your taxes and your contract?
Absolutely, that's part of the game, and we believe that in any sort of environment, I'll give you an example in tech. When iPhone creates a feature, you see all the other ones do it, right? And there's always going to be innovation, and we encourage innovation. We want to help current projects. We also want to help future projects. There might be here tonight with us somebody that wants to create in the future a fantastic system, and they want to raise the bar even further. Absolutely. We want to help those folks. We want to partner with them. We want to, enable them to tap into our coders, our resources here. Our mobile app will be out in, the market for these projects that want to adapt. And there's going to be a licensing fee, as well as our liquidity controller is going to be out there. And that's all going to bring, revenue back here to us, the community, the investors in ARK. So we're also planning, that foreseeing, interest for folks to, come to us, or if they want to do it on their own, I think they'll be well inspired of the work that's being done here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have amazing talent and resources. We've put so much time. This has been a journey since February of this year, and we understand that for new developers, it's an uphill battle. We went through 2 teams of coders. I know how hard it is to find guys that can do Solidity, that can do front end. So our door is always open. We had a great meeting today with folks from another project, and the atmosphere here and the way that we run things, we don't have the policy and the sort of attitude of not wanting to help other folks or collaborate together. On the contrary, we want to partner with folks that are out there. We want to help them improve their systems. We want to see how we can help each other and grow. There's a lot of investors, and ideally we want to be able to, tie into those as we have the mobile app, as we go and get a lot of the folks from the real world that have never bought crypto and offer them, other investment opportunities, in our mobile app besides just, ARK, maybe some faster investments, some slower ones. Chris Dugan's here from bridgedefi.com. They're on our board here. They're, advisors to us. They've got a fantastic project. We're tying in with them, and we're going to see how we can offer their products as well to our investors. So there's a lot coming, and we believe that's the right solution, to work together. Thanks for the questions, C-Rod.
No doubt. Thanks for always being here, man.
Yeah. You agree with that it's best to work with people, not against people?
You know me, man. I'm all about community outreach. A lot of people try to isolate their community from other projects, and I'm totally against that. I like to support positive communities, and I try to bring other people from other communities to join other positive communities. It's the only way this shit keeps running.
Yeah. No, and we're finding Brett, spoke about it yesterday. The whole kind of lone wolf, developer mentality and doing everything yourself, and that's not going to last very long. That's something that you need to be able to plug in and really grow, right? And if there's somebody coming along in the future, we want to be their angel investor, right? We want to help folks out. If we see that it's something that's viable, great crew, reputable, and has their heart in the right place, then why not? That's going to benefit all of us here. So, there are folks out there that, like you said, are very closed, and, they don't want to share community. They don't, want to, play the game together. And I don't know. I think it's something that we absolutely, don't want to, partake in. We want to definitely, take care of all investors, because we know the investors here are investors in other projects as well. I mean, there's a whole pool of diversification right here for everyone. And, we understand that's why we don't talk bad about anybody, and we never will. We understand that there are investors here, or investors that are going to come in the future that have bags in other projects, and they would not, be very I think, open or receptive to hearing criticism on their other investments. So that has to be very clear, and I think that here we understand that. All right. Who else would like to come to the podcast tonight? Unmute your mic and ask us a question or make a comment. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for this project. This seems so promising, especially at this time of the moment where so many great projects fail continuously. I just found out about this actually a few days ago. So one question, can I actually use True Wallet to buy the NFT this week and then immediately transfer the NFT to my main wallet?
Hello, James. Welcome to the podcast, and we appreciate you saying great comments here about ARK. Glad you're very interested, and you seem very excited about what we're doing here. Great question. We absolutely allow the transfer of those NFTs. You could put them into the same wallet, understanding that there is a max of one NFT in your wallet from the private sale. If you were able to get one, you can have 4 from the public pre-sale. So a total of 5 NFTs you're able to put into the same wallet.
But if it's after the launch, when the token is in the vault, we won't be able to transfer, right?
No, sir. Those would be under the same wallet.
I mean, okay, if I have two wallets with the token in the vault, can I still transfer from one vault to another wallet?
No, sir. You're not able to. Those wallets are, individual, and you'll be credited for those NFTs at the time that you're going to turn them in for your ARK in the vault. Those will stay in those accounts. Let me just confirm, Brett, is it correct what the answer I'm giving to Mr. James is? Hold on.
Not with us anymore, mate.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be able to move that around. Once you're under one wallet, whichever NFTs, understanding that there's that max cap from the private. Once we do the launch, you can add as much ARK as you want to, with a limit of 4,000 ARK per wallet. Right, that's the max. But those are the rule sets per wallet, because we want everyone that's interested in ARK to have an opportunity. We don't want one big whale going and buying and having all the supply and having a super, maxed out wallet and taking advantage of a limited supply of those NFTs to get your ARK tokens. It has to be fair for everyone.
Great. So as long as I do it, I transfer it before the launch, then it will be fine. If I can buy 2 or 3 NFT, right?
Correct, James. Absolutely.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Great question. Happy to have you here. Thank you for the vote of confidence here on the product.
Looking very much forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. James, may I ask you where you heard about ARK?
From one of my YouTuber, I can't remember who. Just look into it a few days ago, actually.
All right. Fantastic. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, I was involved with over 20 projects. Most of them failed. So I'm really this seems to be really stable and long project. So I'm very excited.
We build it for that. So I'm glad you've done your research and your due diligence and your understanding that we took the time to make sure that we've put together a project here that is very strong. It's very fair. Whether you're a small investor or a very large investor, we are all following the same rules. We all understand clearly, how to interact with the contracts and what you can do and how you can grow. And I think a lot of folks are really understanding that we want investors to get a return on their investment sooner than later. A great part of being a good investor is to get your initial investment back. And we encourage folks through the 1-to-1 ratio, 1-day compound, 1-day claim, to be able to do that. From there forward, your investment is pretty much pure profit. And we want everyone here to have that win. I've seen a lot of projects that investors are encouraged to not claim, to not get their return on investment. And I understand that proposition. However, time and time again, that I find is not the best formula. So we wanted to change that. We found a way to make it balanced, to make it work, to also be healthy for the other investors and the chart. And I think that's one of the main components here, the spirit of having investors first, and make sure that we encourage great investment strategies and return on investment. Your initials back are really going to, I think, make an impact. And we want to see those folks, get that return on investment and just be very happy here and comfortable as they grow through time.
That's what makes me so interesting. You are the first one who actually, most of the other one, they are always encouraging 6-to-1, 6 compound, 1 claim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you guys are really sincere. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it's not bad for the project. And you shouldn't feel ashamed to be a smart investor and pay yourself. You should not feel ashamed. A system should take that into account. And folks, when they're selling the other investors, hey, why did you take profits? Hey, why did you do this? I mean, it's all done responsibly. And if anyone wants to overclaim and overabuse it, they're going to drop down from the 2% to the 1% and even further. But if you stick to the correct strategy, you will every other day get your return on investment. Eventually that'll be pure profit. You'll be putting food on the table, and you'll be feeling proud that you made a correct decision. These are tough times, my friend. And investors need to be more responsible. You need to be responsible. You have to think about your family. You have to think about your future. You have to look at all the variables and pick wisely where you invest your money during these times. You want stability. You don't want price fluctuations. You want to be pegged to a stable, and you want a system that is set for you to recover your investment, that you could feel safe to bring your friends, safe to bring your family, safe to bring your coworkers, and that you have that reassurance that if you play the game correctly, you will only get the return on investment, but also really grow a lot. It's there for all of us. So if we're all in the same boat, we're all having the same strategy, we all understand that our friends and family are looking to diversify their fiat, which is, losing so much value through inflation. It's cannibalizing itself. Then ARK is a fantastic investment opportunity.
I'm not even super pumped. Thank you so much for all this.
Let's get this crypto, James.
Let's get the crypto.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Happy to have you here, man. Glad to meet you. And we hope to see you here more often. And as you feel more comfortable and with your due diligence, and you invite your friends and family and other investors that you have a relationship with, that you feel confident that they're going to be respected, they're going to be well taken care of, by everybody that works here, and also by the whole community, because we're definitely having a very professional way that even here we operate, and the way that we treat investors and the way that we answer the questions. It's important that everybody feels comfortable, that everybody is at a point where they're happy and they want to make their friends and other investors happy. And while they're here, they know that that it's a safe place to come, and that nobody's going to try to take your referral, that nobody's going to try to play any games. It's very important for us to keep it very professional and respectful. CFF, how you doing, sir? And if you're able to join us here in the podcast and say hello, my friend.
Hey, what's going on? I'm at Chick-fil-A getting ready to pick up dinner, so let me hop on for a few minutes while I wait. Yeah, what's
Fantastic,
going on, guys?
man. Doing great, man. Happy to be here. The growth, the folks that are joining us. You are a syndicate founder, one of the leaders here over at ARK, and I wanted to ask you, how's your community? How are folks receiving and understanding and educating themselves? You know, how are you guys handling that process, and do you have any feedback?
Our community is experienced degens at this point, so we're familiar with a lot of the mechanics already of how, you know, ROI platforms work, and, you know, kind of we're just showing the differences of, you know, I think everyone's very excited with the whole CWR and taking profits along the way and not hyper compounding and then putting a huge strain on the system. So I think, you know, that's the biggest differentiation between ARK and pretty much everything else. So I think our community is super excited to get into this pre-sale on Friday, and yeah, I mean, because the last one went so fast, so I know it's leaving a lot of people hungry. And just, you know, for everyone out there that maybe didn't get into pre-sale because it went so fast, you know what, this one I think there's 900 wallets, unique wallets that will be able to claim, whereas the last pre-sale 500 wallets could theoretically take it out. If there was 1,000 NFTs, each wallet could get 2, so that it was 500 wallets, whereas so this time you have a much greater chance of getting a pre-sale NFT, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, great to hear that your community is pumped and excited. And that's why it was, you know, set up that way, so that come Friday, we have a cap of 1 NFT per wallet, so that so many investors that are you know, really networking and setting up their teams like you guys are, that as many of those folks get a fair chance to get in, that it's not one-sided, and, you know, there's no whitelist, there's nobody that's giving any preferential access to this. And you know, we look forward, you know, for Friday and how that's going to play out. I personally don't have any expectations if it takes a day or 5 or 3. I mean, we have a whole week, and what's important is that as many diverse folks have that chance, they're going to be bringing, you know, their investors, their friends, their families for lunch, if they're not available at that time to come in with them. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, but I think that it was done correctly, and the fairness, you know, at heart as number one priority here, will give us the result of diversified round. And we're going to have the same thing for the week after that. It'll be 800 NFTs at a higher price, with the same 1 NFT per wallet purchase cap. So between those two, my sincere hope, aspiration is that as many folks that really want to be here, they're going to get their chance. It's a nice feeling when you got a pre-sale, you know, when you got a private. It's nice to be able to spread it around evenly, as we've seen too many times that certain folks have an unfair advantage time and time again, and worse than that, which is really what I think is one of the things I'm most proud about, is that all of the private sale buyers, the public sale buyers, the team tokens, as well as the advisor tokens, they're all going to be deposited into the ARK vault. So none of us are going to have to worry for a single moment that there's a whale, there's somebody that had an inside position that is going to turn around and just dump, you know, when they get their, you know, how many X's they aspire to, you know, and use this as liquidity. I've spent many sleepless nights, okay, understanding that fact. So having that designed the way it is, I think is just bringing a whole level of confidence and safety to the investors that are here today and then the investors that will be here tomorrow. Because after launch, the only way that you'll be able to purchase ARK token is through our D app, and it will only be credited and deposited to your ARK vault balance. It will not go to your wallet. Did you hear about that that update that we did, CFF?
No, I actually missed that one. So when you buy at launch day, it'll only be for your vault.
After launch, yeah. After launch, that'll be the same exact thing. Taking into account that we understand that there are folks that can come in after launch and they can, purchase large amounts in order to put some stress perhaps on the liquidity controller. So taking that away and making everyone, and I mean every investor, go into the ARK vault and claim their way to get their return on investment and to grow. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic idea. What do you think about it?
I'll have to think about it. So the only concern I have is, I know certain team leaders like to offer various incentives for joining. So, we were planning on buying liquid tokens at launch to airdrop out and give back for sign-on bonuses. So that was like the only thing that we were setting capital aside to do that, just so we could airdrop back out. So we'll have to think about that. That's the only negative thought that I have at the top of my mind for that. But
Right.
I haven't really had time to think about it yet. So
I know, man. I just I just threw it on you. I thought that you had heard because I know you stay up to date with a lot of the info here. So that over the weekend we sat down. We were looking at the liquidity controller and really just stepping everything up and raising the bar as much as we could. And we say, wait, if we're already not allowing folks to go on PancakeSwap and make their purchases, why don't we go a step further? And this is something that I think a lot of folks can relate to in just life. To have security, you at times have to make sacrifices, and you need to adapt to things that might not be as convenient. You might have to set the alarm, in your house when you go to sleep at night, and maybe you're like, oh man, I don't want to go down and set it and so forth. But to be able to sleep well, to have that, restless night, just knowing deep inside as you're closing your eyes and you're falling asleep and you're going to your dream state, that your house, your alarm, everything's, programmed and there to protect you. That's going to ensure that you're going to get a better night's sleep. And that's just one analogy I could show you. But generally in life, to have, long-term sustainable security, you have to think of all the variables. And we've put a lot of time to thinking about that. And that solution to me personally just screams security and stability for the very, very long-term basis, where folks that are coming in with serious wealth and capital into ARK are understanding that every precaution, if they make that commitment, if they do their due diligence, they will understand that this is built different, and their funds, as well as everyone else's here, are all playing the same game, and we're not having those tokens out in the wild. So obviously, through the claim function, you're all going to be able to have ARK in your tokens, but it's going to be through that particular process. So take some time, sleep on it. And, if you have any questions, that, my DMs and Brett's, we're all open and available to you here. So far, the response we've had from a lot of the big teams has been extremely, extremely positive. And they're just like, wow, it just takes it to a whole nother level of that safety.
Yeah, it does.
Security.
It takes it.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It takes it to a whole other level. And one of the things that you guys have said from the start is like, hey, we don't want to, launch this thing and then have to make changes that people didn't decide to invest in. So I like that you're thinking about this now, because we're seeing with some other popular dApps out there that like, oh, we're going to further put higher sell limits on and things like that after the app's been out for 6 months. Just because of market conditions and overall market uncertainty. There's a lot of negativity going on with the crypto space right now, and they're trying to protect the protocol. And So I can definitely see that. But yeah, I'll definitely think on it, and I'll shoot you, any DMs if I have any questions or anything like that. Yeah, sounds good. I'll have to jump off the mic because I'm getting ready to be home, but I'll tune in as much as I can, but I probably won't be able to jump on voice anymore. But
All right.
yeah, let's get this crypto.
Let's get this crypto, brother. Enjoy the Chick-fil-A. And yeah, I'd like to have a conversation with you and go over some of the extra details, privately with you. There's great advantages here, and I'm sure that you and your community are going to really vibe with it and understand it. Look, guys, people are really scared right now. Whether they turn on the 8 o'clock news or they're on Twitter, wherever you kind of stick your head out the window, you're really understanding that there's a lot of uncertainty on a global scale. And when it comes to their fiat, when it comes to their crypto, they're understanding that it's not going to be tomorrow, most likely, that we're going to get this huge reversal in the market. And they want to set themselves up into a strategy, into a situation that it's like, forget the upside, forget buying the dip, because you can buy the dip and it'll keep dipping and dipping, and you're sitting there, you're sacrificing. And I got a lot of friends and people that I trade with that if their wife knew their portfolio right now, they'd probably be having some issues, maybe even a divorce. It's scary what's happened to a lot of folks right now. And they're looking for passive income. They're looking for a safe play. They're looking for growth that's going to see them through the hard times. So any feature, anything that we can do that's fair, and it doesn't really mess at all with the profits and the gains, but on the contrary, just adds more, security for that sustainability. I think it is an absolute win, and it's something that's just going to keep, everybody here, having those beautiful, relaxed, calm, days, not having to look at the chart, letting the liquidity controller do its magic, its work of providing that security blanket that we're all going to sleep in every single night, understanding that these smart contracts have been put together in a fashion that are secure and built so that as time passes, and even when the bear market, shifts and we start to see some growth, you don't have to feel jealous of Larry, at the water cooler. Hey, I bought, 7K BTC. I'm like, well, great for you, Larry. Are you getting 1,000% return, getting your initials back in 3 months? Like, are you playing that game? I'm not sure, but I'm sure you had a lot of sleepless nights as you bought the dip from 40K down. So, a lot of soul searching here, guys, a lot of questions, a lot of looking in the mirror, and taking the time to do due diligence as, the shiny objects, are fading. And these folks that people look up to and who appear to be, reasonable and doing the right things are not. And that's why DeFi, that's why smart contracts that are done correctly and put together with understanding that not everything always goes as planned, but you're able to think far ahead and adjust as you go along, are really something to take into consideration as you set your financial goals for yourself, for your family. You want to get your money right. You want to get your crypto right. You want to be able to not just grow, but thrive. That's our proposition for you guys. Let's get this crypto. Who else would like to come with us and have a conversation, or maybe have a question or a comment? We'd love to hear from you. Very serious tone we have tonight as we're really analyzing the variables and improving them, and understanding that right now that's the narrative that we all need to really buy into and study. How you doing tonight, Mr. Chris Dugan? You've been quiet. You've been here a lot of times, but you've been fairly quiet on the podcast. I'm not sure he's actually able to speak at this time. Mr. Quality, are you able to unmute your mic and talk to us this evening? All right, we're going to continue down the list. Moneyface, would you like to talk with us this evening, sir?
I think everyone's got stage fright.
I don't.
Man, Nito, hey man, it's getting quiet over here. I'm having to pick people at random and put them on the spot. How you doing tonight, brother?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. I think, okay, I will say this. The comment from the team builder gentleman is something to consider. I mean, I agree. It makes a lot of sense with security and having a very structured set of rules and limit the sell pressure. That's great. But that's a legitimate concern or off the top, how you would distribute, with if you wanted to buy liquid, as opposed to having like an anti-dump tax where you have based on a certain amount in your vault. So that's one thing. And then another thing is, but I see what you're saying. That's a trade-off, security and longevity for the, little bit more rigid control over the sell. But another thing I will say from reviewing the rules, and going through some little bit of numbers, I will say that and I was just talking, okay, that if you don't have an NFT, it appears as though, and you use the maximum CWR 1.3, it will be taking you over 3 years to get to a max. Now, I don't say max is the goal, but I'm just saying that's what it would take. Obviously, it's fantastic will force you to pull liquidity over time, to withdraw over time. That's very helpful, very healthy. But but when you compare it to those with NFTs that are very few relative to the total people in the vault, in the ARK vault later on, right? You will find that they are able to max out quite soon, much sooner. You're talking as early as 7 months, and then with other NFTs, let's say 9 months. So we're looking at that kind of range. I'm sure you crunched everything already. So what it looks like is that having an NFT is not only the benefits of the utility, the revenue driven from utilities that drive, the value in there for the holders, but also have a tremendous edge over everyone. Again, I don't want to be strong with. We're just discussing this. So that's just something I noticed. What was the other point? There's another point. So that's that. And I don't want to say it's like a whale game or anything. It's not, because you have to put a tremendous amount of capital. Very, very, very challenging to have a multi-wallet strategy and to be able to get to any max stat, to max out. And again, you changed the definition of the goals in a great way. I like the fact that you don't need to you don't want it because you're pulling along the way and you're paying yourself, you're getting cash flow and an increasing stepping up of cash flow over time. That's great. But it is a definite mind shift of knowing that, okay, we're in crypto, things happen turn on a dime, okay, exchanges implode, etc. But we're going to think about, we have to kind of grasp and all agree, well, this is structured so well, let's say, that it's going to last for years. Years is a lifetime. That's my take. That's my impression. Any idea, any comment?
Yeah, absolutely. And having NFTs you can go faster, but if you sit on the calculator and you do the calculations, you'll figure out that if somebody wants to go so much faster, they're leaving so many tokens on the table that is absolutely so beneficial for everyone else, the whole protocol, all the investors. And there are some people that might be their investment strategy and criteria, and they rather do sooner than later and leave massive amounts behind of ARK on the table. And if that's what they want to do, I wouldn't personally advise it, but those folks are going to have that opportunity. And it's like everything. It's a sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice so much more later to have something, smaller today. And that's the beauty of the game, right? Some folks are going to make that sacrifice today to be able to go faster, and they'll go slow and they'll become, great earners and winners. And that's going to satisfy them. And others are going to have a different strategy. But every investor has that chance and that opportunity, especially those folks that start small and want to grow and upgrade on their NFTs as well. It's hard for us to gauge and foresee, how fast those will sell or fill out, but they've all been taken into account and balanced on a multi-year schedule and understanding how that flow. I mean, we can't, calculate exactly, how every single investor is going to create their strategy, but we can get an idea of a fair advantage of understanding that not every investor thinks the same. And that some folks, when they see such a secure system, are going to want to actually play slower because it pays a lot better. So that makes it intricate. That makes it fun. That makes it safe. And, the NFTs aren't cheap. And then you're always going to have the opportunity of course, the bond LP. But it's sort of that thing, whoever steps up and makes that financial decision to play that game, they are playing really under the same set of rules and taking a bigger financial risk. And I'm glad you identified that and mentioned it. They are taking a bigger chance as they're putting more capital into the whole ecosystem that's going to really help us sustain. That's capital that's going to help us go out into the real world and bring that revenue from true utility, not just dependent on, more folks coming each day to invest here at ARK. So that's such a healthy part of the whole ecosystem. That's the beauty of this. And I'm glad you're starting to really understand it.
So yeah, I understand there's different game theories. I get that, but one thing, because you're forcing withdrawals, which is healthy. Would you say that puts more strain on the liquidity controller over time or less? Because you can maybe model based on CWRs over time, because whereas opposed to say the game is normally played where you want to get to max. So there's a lot of delayed gratification and there's a buildup of the compounded token in the system.
That's what's not healthy. That's what's not healthy, Nito. So to answer your question, absolutely not. It's much better. That's why we've changed it. We want folks to get their return on investment sooner than later. And it's something that we see time and time again that investors don't do. It's healthy for the chart. It slows things down at the same time, giving folks the opportunity to be successful. So it absolutely, levels the playing field in the sense of getting folks to understand that there's nothing wrong. I'm more concerned of people just hyper compounding their way to max and not contributing anything else to the whole ecosystem. And then, pretty much doing an exit, a large exit that's going to really take a burden, especially when so many of them are doing it at exactly the same time. That is extremely unhealthy. And we've seen it time and time again. And things are changing. I mean, look around. Folks are understanding this. They're buying into this, and they're saying, "Thank you. Somebody really went further, raised a bar." This all makes so much sense that they're kind of like freaking out and in like a euphoric FOMO. If you listen and you hear, it's amazing. It's amazing that people are really understanding how fair this is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like there's less buildup of compounded tokens in the vault, and so because you're really effectively reducing the compound rate, as opposed to others where, let's say, it's based on behavior, where you're actually incentivized to compound more, to grow faster, like in Furial, for example. So very different. But there's different, behavioral change. Just a really big shift has to happen in terms of believing the long-term sustainability. Of course, based on the rules that I understand, that story is valid and very credible in terms of, yes, that does appear, it does feel like it would be sustainable long term because of that. But people are not, people like are short term, and they're
Well,
because so much is
that's where the
ingrained
calculator,
into maxing out. Yeah.
that's where the calculator comes in. Don't believe me. Do your own research, spend time on the calculator, and find the best strategy that you have available, and the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And how everything's balanced out is so clear, crystal clear, that we encourage, for those of you that have not used Dr. Kelly Snook's calculator, spend some time with it, sit down. Just don't FOMO in because your friend is. Understand, the CWR, the NDV,
Well,
all of the variables that have been put there that we all have to live with and are there to protect all of us. Go ahead.
well, me and a few bros, we actually had to review a couple times to uncover the subtlety that, maybe not subtlety, but the fact that it wasn't clear the first round, wrap our heads around it properly, is the fact that when your NDV goes to negative, because compounds are neutral, your NDV going to negative as you withdraw over time, you'll be hitting the 1%. So not only will your compound rate be reduced, you'll also have, limited with your CWR, which is
Right.
is healthy. I'm just saying that was like
Extremely
a discovery. A few actually. I was talking to, when we're,
Extremely
discussing
healthy.
strategy, maybe. Yeah.
If you had a business that was making you money and if you invested into it to keep it at that rate or grow even more, would you invest more money into it to maintain the highest rate of return in the real world, right?
Yeah,
as an example.
Continue. Yeah, continue. I have
Continuing.
another question.
Mhm.
Question about would you consider, as you're a trader, right? As well? Or have you traded
Yes.
before? Would you
Yes.
consider, like Furio does, doing a bot? Is that something of consideration with ARK?
No, we have different aspirations, and I have friends. Actually, one of our great investors here, Dr. Marcel, is a bot maker. He makes trading bots, and I've delved in them and played with them. But the thing about not just trading bots, but any trader strategy is that it can work today, a week, a month, maybe even a year. But as the market shifts and changes, strategies that are built into bots become ineffective over time. In my experience, everybody has different ones. If there were, bots that always made money every single day, every single month, every single year, then, the whole stock market and everything would be rigged, and they would have, all of the wins and everyone else the losses. So in a long, chart of analysis over time, very few are constantly, profitable, and they can put you in a very risky situations. I can tell you the amount of friends I've had that, oh man, I just made all this money with this bot, month, 2 passed through, and then, what happened? Oh man, I got wrecked. What happened? No, but you had this amazing bot. No, it put me into a loss. So I do not believe in leverage trading with other people's funds. Even if I were a financial advisor and a certified trader and licensed trader, Series 7 or whatever, I believe that in a project like this, it doesn't fit our investment profile. Our initiative is not to take on risk. We are anti-risk from every angle. I mean, that's why I think the spirit of ARK is being so well received. We are staying away from anything that has those variables.
I see. Yeah, leverage is dangerous, but spot as well, you would not consider?
What was that? Could you repeat it?
Spot. Trading on spot instead of leverage. Would you also not consider?
I just told you. I that's not our initiative, and I do not believe in bot trading.
Gotcha.
That's just my personal. They're very, very good. Physical traders like human beings, and there are some quants that are very good at always updating their bots. But these are people that are just on another level, and relying on just one source to bring investor fund. It's just not our criteria. There's other people that can do it. That's up to them, right? But it doesn't fit us. That's not what we want. There's so many other ways that we have to bring real utility and do the real world investments that I've already discussed at length with you, that are safe and they're viable and they're long term. They're very long term opportunities that have been proven to be effective and provide great rates of return. My goal here, is to not have to be concerned, as much as possible into any variable that is just, risky. Is there anybody else that has a question? We'd love to hear from you guys. Let's see. We see a couple folks hopping in here. Huss, welcome to tonight's podcast. If you have a question or comment, feel free to unmute your mic and ask us. See, Mark 2 is here. We had a meeting earlier tonight, Mark and I, and we see a lot of familiar faces. Not everybody likes to talk on the podcast or ask questions. You know that you can always also write in our chat here, and we'll be happy to answer any questions for you. Thursday, we'll be having an AMA over at the Team Passive, which we're really excited about. That's going to be the day before Friday's, public round 2, which is obviously building up to have a lot of interest and subscription to it. So I think, let me look it up here. Let me tell you the time, guys, as we have already set the time for that AMA, and we got a lot of other ones that are going to be coming up pretty soon too. Here we go. One second, folks, as we get this info for you. And there's a banner that's being put together for this as well. Great community there. It's going to be 1 Pacific time. So yeah, 1 p.m. Pacific on Thursday. Be looking forward to that, guys. And we'll be over there at Team Passive. It'll be recorded and we're going to post it and pin it here for you after we're done over there. But great folks. I know a lot of them have already done their due diligence, and they're very excited about ARK, and they've participated already. So we know more folks from there are looking forward to have an opportunity. And man, we're here with open arms, ready to really receive everybody as we go through the second round, and then of course our third and final before launch on December 2nd. I have a question here from Mark 2. Can we do a max of 300 held in each wallet? The rest go straight to the vault. Mark, can you hear me? I'm not sure I understand your question, brother.
I'm sitting on the throne at the moment.
It's all right.
No, instead of the bloke that was talking before about having access to tokens.
Yeah.
Instead of putting them all in the vault, can we have a max held in the wallet and the rest go to the vault?
No, we don't want to do that, Mark. We want to keep everything in the vault. Just those tokens out in the wild, it just really, man, tightens everything up to such a level of security. And look, folks will be able to take out 200, per wallet, they'll be able to take out 200 ARK token. I don't want to speculate on a price and do math here for you, because that could be interpreted as a saying what the token price is going to be after launch. So that would not be, I think, professional. But I think that most folks can understand that 200 ARK per day. If you were to guesstimate what the launch price or what the price would be at some point after launch, it is a good amount. And you have to take into consideration as well, the direct deposits that are coming in, that 5%, that is also going to furnish folks the opportunity to have ARK, in their wallets to be able to do airdrops. I don't know if CFF had really had time to sit and think about it. That's why I told them think about it and come back, because we've thought of all the variables. We've spoken to our advisors, and everyone absolutely thinks it's just amazing. It's very, very, very well thought out, and bringing that extra layer of security that we all want here. That's so important. But that's a good suggestion. But unfortunately, it's all been really thought out, and that's not going to change. It's going to attract so many more investors here, just having that peace of mind. So thank you for that question, Mark. There we go. Is there anybody else that has a question or comment for tonight's podcast? We'd love to hear from you. All right, folks. We are going to go ahead and close the podcast for tonight. Been here for an hour and 20 minutes. We thank all of you who have come forward and spent the time with us. And for those of you that are listening to the podcast, perhaps tomorrow on your way to work or throughout your day, thank you for tuning in and getting the information. We are getting ready for Friday's public round 2. Very excited. A lot of interest, a lot of demand. YouTubers, it's overwhelming and so well received, by us here at the team, that so many of you have really taken the time to understand ARK and what we're doing here. And as we're getting closer to our launch, we're even finding further improvements that are going to just make a huge difference going forward. Understanding the market conditions, understanding really what investors want. Right now, they don't care about overnight crazy gains. They want that stable return on investment. They want to recover their initial investments in a timely manner, and understand that it can all be orchestrated correctly in a level playing field where we could really all get a win. That's our purpose. That's what we're here to do. And we're happy to see that you guys are understanding it and want to be a part of that growth. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. UTC. Good night.